Hello, small patrons, and welcome to Mr. Dan's Real World. Now, today we are going to be going through this cemetery looking for the negative spirit. The negative spirit is an entity made purely of bogus energy. Its goal is to spread negativity, some fear, and some general discomfort between people. So, we are going to hunt this thing down and send it back to the cosmos from which it came. We're also going to learn a little bit about a history of Halloween. Now, this aspect of Halloween that Mr. Dan is going to talk about while we're walking through this thing is mostly Eurocentric. Mr. Dan apologizes and promises by the powers of righteousness that blessed him with these mighty biceps, it will not happen again. So let's get going. I don't see it yet, but this gives Mr. Dan an opportunity to talk about Samhain. Now, Samhain was an ancient Celtic holiday that celebrated the end of the harvest and the beginning of the Celtic New Year. Now, the celebrations of Samhain culminated in a giant gathering at the Seat of Kings. Ugh! The night before Samhain was said to be a night when the veils between the two worlds would open and the ghosts of the dead would roam the earth. This would also be a night when mortals would be allowed to use their inner eye to see the future. Ooh, it's not over there.
Ooh, you're not good enough. Ooh.
The negative spirit. Let's go. But then came the Romans. In the 400 years of Roman rule over the British Isles, Samhain began to merge and mesh with other Roman festivals. And then came the missionaries. Through a series of Pope Gregs, the people of the British Isles were converted. Now, Pope Greg III was instrumental in establishing Christian holidays around the Celtic Samhain. He did this by moving the already established All Saints' Day to November 1st, and then creating All Souls' Day and declaring that it should be celebrated on November 2nd. This is important, small patrons, as the Celtic holiday of Samhain was a 3-day celebration. And so, by establishing two Christian holidays behind one pagan holiday, there is now a 3-day celebration that has successfully merged Samhain with other Christian established holidays. It's a negative spirit! Alright, small patrons, let's fight this thing. Yeah! Well, small patrons, that was a negative spirit, but it was just a small one. So we gotta look for the big negative spirit. Let's go. Because of the stringent beliefs of the Puritan separatists that colonized modern-day New England, All Hallows Eve, as the night before All Saints' Day became known, was not widely celebrated in these areas. However, it was quite popular in Maryland and the southern colonies of America. However, it wasn't until the 1800s when the Irish potato famine happened and Irish immigrants were coming in to America to seek refuge that Halloween was widely celebrated. Here's a list of some popular things that people did to celebrate Halloween. Find cabbage patches and hurl cabbage stalks at each other. They would have corn husking contests. Bobbing for apples was a popular pastime as well. Halloween has always had this weird romantic undertone to it, but Mr. Dan's not going to get into that. Let's go this way. Look! It's another negative spirit.
Your opinion means nothing.
Let's take it down. Ha! Yes! By the time the 1900s happened, Halloween was a time when pranking was popular. And this would include harmless nonsense stuff like scaring pedestrians, ding-dong ditching, or taking someone's front gate. But by the time the 1920s rolled around, the harmless nonsense became violent acts of vandalism. By the time the 1930s came, the community had to step up and do something to tame these wild, ruly mischief makers. YMCAs started to hold festivals, and schools started to hold parties and thought of ways to entertain the children, like with poetry readings or Halloween plays. Now, post-World War II small patrons, the economic boom also gave rise to more consumers, and these consumers were all about buying candy and costumes. But by the 1950s, Halloween was seen as a harmless children's holiday, with all the ooky spooky night filled of terror taken out, and the religious undertones sort of completely lost in the popular culture celebration that we are accustomed to here in America. Do you hear that? It's here. The negative spirit. Whoa! Mustache of righteousness. Power up. Full mustache power. Yes! These days, small patron, Halloween can be exactly what you make it to be. A day of silly nonsense, running around in costumes and retrieving candy and such goodies from the neighborhood, or a day where you can solemnly reflect and honor those who have passed on. Or it can be both. And stay safe out there, guys. Happy Halloween!
Oh, Daniel, Daniel, Daniel. Still protecting the earth with the power of righteousness, I see. You're turning that little hovel you've been hiding into a real funky town. But the prison you've trapped me in is breaking. And, knock on wood, I'll hustle over to turn the beat around and your patch of September into one dark, cold night by the power of bogus energy. You may have trapped me here, old friend, but I'm still staying alive.